How's it going, guys? Ideas of Ice and Fire here. Before I start this video, I just want to tell you guys about my Patreon real quick. I've got over an hour of exclusive content up there right now. I talk about Azor Ahai and I compare it to real world legends, and there are actually a lot of interesting connections that I think a lot of people will find very, very interesting. So check that out. I'll be adding new content every month, and of course the content is for all patrons of all levels. So please check me out. You could totally donate $1 and then get all that content every month. It'll be $1 a month and you're getting a shit ton of exclusive content that's not on this channel. It's awesome. So thank you guys for listening to that. Now, without further ado, the leaks to episode 1. How's it going, guys? This is Ideas of Ice and Fire. A lot of you have asked me to look at the season 8 leaks. So I have pulled up here HBO leaks season 8. This looks like season 8 episode 1. I'm just gonna read what I see and react to it. This is going to be like an off-the-cuffs video, not very much editing going on in this video, so you're going to get my natural reaction. I have not looked at any of this, I haven't read any of it. I don't know if it's real, I don't know if it's fake, but click away if you don't want to be spoiled. The last leaks we got were totally, spoilers. It says here, the guy that wrote this says, "I'll try to be point to point. I'm not the original Truid, the one who gave us very accurate leaks in the past, but I'm attempting to walk in his footsteps. I've messaged the mods about this being a new account, blah blah blah." Get to the leaks. HBO leak. First scene. Aftermath of the Night King's attack on Castle Black. Tormund and Gendry are able to flee the scene. Undead Viserion sets crows and undead afire. Lord Beric Dondarrion stays behind to fight the White Walkers. Dies off screen, ? But not before killing the White Walker that killed Ed. Ed is stabbed to death by a White Walker. Tormund and Gendry ride for Winterfell whilst we see a burning Castle Black in the background. Okay, so why is the Night King even bothering to attack Castle Black? There's not much there, just a few men. So if I was the Night King, I'd go like straight to Winterfell and then even further south and just keep going south. But he's turned, he was going south and then he turns west towards Castle Black. That's a little weird. I would think that he would just continue going south unless there was something specific that he wanted at Castle Black. That right off the bat is a little weird to me. Next bulletin. Daenerys, Jon, Tyrion, Davos, Jorah, Brienne, Podrick the Hound, Melisandre, Varys, Theon arrive in Winterfell. Davos remarks that it has gotten much colder and darker since he has left with Jon. Jon and Arya are first reunited. Daenerys meets Sansa Stark, and Sansa asks whether she and Jon are in love now. Ugh, cringe. Daenerys don't give a proper response to that. That's what it says. Daenerys don't give a proper response to that. Sansa doesn't seem too pleased with Jon returning to Winterfell and Daenerys' presence. Jon notices this and chats with her. She mentions Littlefinger's death and how he has always betrayed them right under their nose. She says it's plain stupid to work together with Cersei Lannister. The Hound and Arya also have a conversation with each other. Arya tells the Hound she didn't regret to leave him behind without having him killed off. The Hound answers that Arya should have killed him off right there, especially with the things he has seen beyond the wall. Alright, I'm still sore from that terrible Winterfell, season last season. I mean, this season, whatever. I'm still sore from all that, so the fact that this is all happening at Winterfell already, makes me kind of hate it, because I've already got a kind of bad Winterfell taste in my mouth. Obviously, Sansa is right about not working with Cersei Lannister. Cersei's totally crazy. Let's see. Next bulletin. Euron Greyjoy arrives back in King's Landing with the Golden Company and meets up with Cersei Lannister and the commanders of the Golden Company in the throne room. Cersei thanks Euron for having the sellsword shipped to King's Landing. Cersei orders the commander-in-chief to take Storm's End and to have an army gathered in the fortress. I'm trying to figure out who's at Storm's End right now. I really have no clue. That was Renly's castle, and I don't really know what happened to the castle after Renly was killed. Like, I have no idea. There might be an explanation for what happened in the books, but in the show, they definitely have not talked about Storm's End at all. We have not even seen Storm's End in the show. Robert Baratheon once told her that the fortress has stood for many centuries, and she's sure that it will keep standing during the long night as well. Well, that's interesting because there actually is magic in Storm's End. Legend has it that, this guy, he fell in love with the Storm King's daughter and he put her in this castle. And at their wedding, the Storm King, blew down the castle and he killed all the guests. But, his daughter, protected her husband, so he survived. So he kept rebuilding this castle, and every time he made it stronger. And then finally, with the help of Brandon the Builder, he made a castle that, the Storm King could no longer tear down. So there is magic in this castle, so maybe it will stand in the long night. Who knows? Since there is no Baratheon holding the castle any longer, it wouldn't be too difficult to take it themselves. They'll need to protect themselves during the Great War. Understandable, yeah, but what Cersei really should be doing is making a shit ton of fucking wildfire. That's what she really should be doing. She shouldn't be, fuck storms in. You should have the pyromancers working day and night, making a bunch of wildfire, so when those motherfucking others, get to the gates of King's Landing, you can throw that shit at them and, fuck their shit up. But then again, they do have a dragon, so... But then again, Cersei does have scorpions. You could put wildfire on the scorpions, fire a bunch at the white dragon, because he's only got one. Just fire a bunch of scorpions that are lit up with wildfire. That white dragon still should be susceptible to fire. So, that's what you should be doing, Cersei. You shouldn't be worried about, storms in. Screw all this. This is dumb. Later that night, Euron Greyjoy is about to have sex with Cersei Lannister. Euron jokes that she won't miss her brother after she finds out what he can give her. Cersei's face says enough. She isn't too pleased with Euron in her bed. Possible nudity to be seen here. The following morning, Euron leaves with his ship, the Silence, to ferry the Cell Swords to Storm's Inn to take the fortress. After he comes back, he tells Cersei he wants to be her king. Inside the Silence, Euron has a conversation with Yara Greyjoy about Queen Cersei. Yara point blank tells him that she knows he isn't interested in being Queen Cersei's pet husband at all. Euron laughs and tells her that his good friends from Braavos will take care of that problem soon enough. So I guess this is insinuating that Euron has hired a faceless man to kill Cersei. Interesting. Daenerys, Jon, Sansa, Tyrion, Davos, Melisandre, Sam, Varys, and the Northern Lords and the Knights of the Vale gather in the Great Hall of Winterfell. Sweet Robin and Jon Royce are also present in the scene. Sam reunites with Jon, and the two share a hug. Jon tells Sam he's glad to have him back. The Northern Lords aren't too pleased to accept Daenerys as their queen. Daenerys defends herself very well, but she doesn't get the support of the North just yet. Lyanna Mormont tells Daenerys Targaryen that she will never call her Your Grace because she only knows one king, and that's Jon Snow. Fucking cringe, the king in the North. Tyrion smiles and mentions that she is a ferocious girl, on which Jorah replies that Mormonts don't stand back for anything. I'm so fucking sick of Lady Mormont. I don't give a fuck. I don't know why people love her so much. She was cool in those couple of scenes from like season 6 or something. I don't know. I'm just so over it right now. Oh, Lady Mormont, she's such a badass. I don't give a fuck. She hasn't done anything that shows me that she's a badass. She's just a little girl that talks shit. Like, that makes you a badass? Give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Tyrion smiles and mentions that she's a ferocious girl, on which Jorah replies that Mormonts don't stand back for anything. Shouldn't Jorah be the Lord of Bear Island now, since he's back in Westeros? And he did get pardoned by Robert Baratheon, so technically Lyanna Mormont should, step aside. Now the true Lord of Bear Island is here, Jorah. I mean, technically he should be. Jon tells them there's no time to argue with each other, and brings up that there hasn't been word of the Lannister army yet. Sansa responds that she warned them not to trust Cersei Lannister. Tyrion mentions that they can trust his brother Jaime, but Daenerys doesn't seem to agree with this one. Of course, because Jaime killed her fucking crazy ass father. The group discusses how they will defend the North against the Night King's army. Jon Snow tells Robin that it's wise to bring the Eyrie into the fold and to lure the Night King in there. Robin doesn't really seem to care and accepts Jon's proposal. After the meeting, Daenerys tells Jon that the Northerners are really stubborn and small-minded people. Wow, that's kind of fucked up, Daenerys, I'm curious to find out how exactly to lure the Night King. How are you going to lure him? You don't even know what he wants. How are you going to lure? You have to have, you have to have an understanding of bait. You need to know what he wants, he desires, before you can lure him. It's like trying to catch a fish, but you have no idea what fish eat. We don't even know what the Night King wants, so how are you going to lure him to the Eyrie? Next bulletin. Theon Greyjoy visits the God's Wood of Winterfell and thinks of his friend Robb when and meets with Bran Stark. Okay, gotta read that again. Theon visits the God's Wood of Winterfell and thinks of his friend Robb when and meets with Bran Stark. Okay, that sentence makes no sense. He immediately apologizes to Bran for everything he has done against House Stark, but Bran tells him there is no need for that. He knows that Theon has redeemed himself by saving his sister Sansa. He has seen how much he has suffered in the hands of Ramsay Bolton. Theon asks him how he knows all that, but Bran doesn't respond to that. Arya and Brienne are training, and Jon is impressed by his sister's fighting skills. Everyone is. Everyone's really impressed by Arya's crazy, miraculous fighting skills. Arya mentions that he has never forgotten... Arya mentions that... it says Arya has mentioned that he has never forgotten to stick her enemies with the pointy end. There are a lot of typos in this. Sorry, guys. It's referring to Arya as a he, so that's why I was confused. Arya mentions that... it should say she. Arya mentions that she has never forgotten to stick her enemies with the pointy end. He asks Arya why she didn't join the meeting in the Great Hall of Winterfell. Arya answers that Sansa is way better at those things than she is. I mean, whatever. Sansa sucks now. I know this show's been trying really hard to get me to like Sansa Stark, but she still totally sucks, so whatever. She's like, that's the thing. Like, this show has been like, oh yeah, Sansa's, capable now. But like, I still don't fucking buy it. I don't buy anything. I don't buy Sansa being capable. See, this season, made me hate Arya when it was trying to make me like Sansa. But all it did was end up just making me hate them both, And, it ruined, like, both these characters totally suck. In Volantis, Lady Melisandre enters the Red Temple. She is again welcomed by Kinvara. Melisandre tells Kinvara that she's played her part in the Great War to come. She has united ice and fire. She has served King Jon Snow and the prince who was promised and brought him back to life. Kinvara tells Melisandre that she has served their god well on that part, but she also has made a lot of mistakes where she needs to pay for. Kinvara tells Melisandre that their god demands one more sacrifice of Melisandre, which requires her return to the north. Melisandre answers that she isn't allowed to enter the north. Kinvara smiles and answers Melisandre that she could benefit from her punishment then. I wonder what the punishment is. I think if I don't know if these leaks are real, but if I had to guess the punishment, I think it might be, give me that ruby. You don't get to look young and hot anymore. So she takes off the ruby, she gives the ruby to Kinvara because for some reason Kinvara is above Melisandre, even though in the books, it's mentioned that Melisandre is, the highest level of this order. There's no one that's more powerful than Melisandre. But in this, apparently Kinvara is a step above Melisandre. So I think she gives her the ruby. Melisandre gets all old and fuggly. No one recognizes her, and that's how she's able to get back to the north. So that's the punishment, I think. Next bulletin. We see Jaime Lannister at the inn where he meets up with Bronn. Oh my god, more Bronn. Jaime is surprised to see Bronn and asks why he followed him. Bronn answered that there's nothing left for him in that stinking city and he's up for some adventure in the north. Wow. Like, this is the guy that said, fuck dragons, I don't want to deal with dragons, but you're literally marching north to face the others? This is not... If I was Bronn, I'd be on the first ship for the fucking Summer Isles. I'd be gone. I'd be Thoros, anywhere but here. I'd be out of Westeros, that's for sure. I wouldn't be, I'm gonna just march north. No. That's I don't feel like Bronn would do that. Jaime is glad to have Bronn next to him. Then Lady Stoneheart shows up and stabs him through the throat. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't say that. Jaime is glad to have Bronn next to... You thought so for a second, didn't you? You had to look up, didn't you? Jaime is glad to have Bronn next to his side. Bronn asks Jaime why he has left the woman he loves the most. But Jaime doesn't fully respond to this question. He then asks what he's planning to do now that he's left King's Landing. Jaime tells Bronn that he's on his way to Riverrun to bring the garrison Lannister army back into the fold. Bronn asks him why he would give up the castle he has been occupying. Jaime answers, what purpose would that have? What does he gain with that? For all he cares, Edmure can have Riverrun back. Okay, whatever. Next bulletin. Tormund and Gendry arrive in Winterfell. Jon Snow asks Sansa why Bran didn't take the time to join the meeting in the Great Hall and even didn't come back to speak to him. Sansa tells Jon that Bran has changed a lot and calls himself the Three-Eyed Raven now. She tells him not to expect much of conversation with him. Samwell comes in between and tells Jon there's something he and Bran urgently need to tell him. Bran first sees Jon in the Godswood when he's looking into the past. Jon mentions that he has encountered a warg beyond the wall. Sam responds that Bran is much more than a warg. He's a green seer. The two of them inform Jon about his parentage, which Jon doesn't seem to believe at first sight. Bran tells Jon that he knows everything about him. He saw him beyond the wall, surrounded by the Free Folk. He saw him fighting at Hardhome against the Night King. He saw how he was stabbed to death by his own men. Jon can't really believe he's a Targaryen. Sam mentions that he's the one with the right claim on the Iron Throne, not Daenerys, but Aegon Targaryen. And so that is supposed to be episode 1, and you know, it's whatever. Like I said, Game of Thrones, it's all shenanigans now. You know, it's fun. It's fine. You can watch it and still enjoy it. It's fine, but you're not gonna stop me. One thing that you motherfuckers on the internet aren't gonna do is you're not gonna stop me from hating on this fucking show. I can hate on this fucking show as much as I want, because you know what? Last season fucking sucked. And if you like it, then you know, it's fine. That's fine. You know, and I'm not judging you for liking it, but it sucked. It objectively was really terrible. And you know, next season will probably suck too. It probably will. You know, the last few seasons have sucked. You know, I'm a Game of Thrones fan. You know, I'm a bigger Game of Thrones fan than probably any of you people listening right now. So don't call me a hater, because I have every Blu-ray. I spent hundreds of dollars on these stupid fucking pop dolls with their little beady eyes, and I've got all the Game of Thrones characters. I've got all these books, been reading them for years. Now I'm a super fan. I am dedicated to this shit. And just like Game of Thrones went from a show that, you know, I was having fun watching and enjoying and loving, to show that I love to hate on. I know there are those people that love to hate on my channel. Like some of you guys literally, and you know who you are, you will comment on every single video and tell me how much you hate me. And you know why you do that? Because it's fun. Sometimes it's fun to hate on stuff, and you know, it's fun to hate on Game of Thrones. But let me make one thing clear though. When I do episode reviews of this show, I never ever go into an episode with the intention to hate. I go into this episode with my eyes wide open. I'm taking in everything, and you know, when it sucks, it sucks, and when it's good, it's good, and you know how it is. You know how it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my Patreon. Tons of exclusive content going up on my Patreon every month. There's over an hour of exclusive A Song of Ice and Fire content up there right now. I talk about Azor Ahai and, you know, some other real world legends that relate to Azor Ahai. It's crazy. There's ties with, you know, Christianity and the Bible. You know, Lucifer, if you didn't know, means Lightbringer, which is, you know, the magic sword, you know, that's used to fight the others. You know, that's a whole thing. It's all about knowledge and enlightenment. So if you want to hear about that, check me out on Patreon. And thank you guys for watching. Peace out.